Is remarriage after divorce sin? There is no argument about marriage after the death of a partner. That one all cultures admit. If your partner dies, there's nothing wrong with marrying again. In fact, the Bible says the same. In 1 Corinthians 7:39, if your partner dies, you are freed from that covenant. So the real debate is remarriage after divorce, not after death, after divorce, sin? If you divorce, should you remarry? And if so, is that sin? The answer is yes and no. I'll explain the yes and then the no. Let's start with the yes. Yes, remarriage is sin if you remarry because you quarreled with your partner. You had a marital conflict, you disagreed, you had a dispute, and you left your partner and married another person because you felt your partner is misunderstanding you, or difficult, or argumentative. You didn't agree about money. You didn't agree about in-laws. You didn't agree about career aspirations and dreams. You didn't agree where to live. You didn't agree where to buy a house, where to take children to school. If you divorce because of such disagreement and remarry, you are committing adultery. The Bible says you should reconcile and learn to live together. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, 10 to 11. To the married I give this command, not I, but the Lord. A wife must not separate from her husband, but if she does, she must remain unmarried, or else be reconciled to her husband. And a husband must not divorce his wife. So remarriage after divorce, if the reason for divorce is a conflict, because you disagreed, because you quarreled, if you remarry after that, you're sinning before God. You should learn to live together. But if your partner committed adultery, what we call today extramarital affairs, then remarriage is not sin. I repeat, remarriage is not sin if your partner commits adultery. Marriage is a sex covenant. If your partner commits adultery, you are free to remarry. Yes, that's true. Many people don't see the word except that Jesus said. So I want us to look at two texts from the lips of the Master. I'm not going to add anything. I just want you to open your eyes and see. I'm reading Matthew 19:9 from the NIV. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another woman, commits adultery. I can read that same sentence and it's still grammatically sound without changing the meaning. Because there is a comma, I can still read it this way. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife and marries another woman commits adultery, except for sexual immorality. It is the same sentence from a grammatical, from a linguistic perspective, same meaning, same everything. Because there's a comma that puts that clause, except for sexual immorality. So basically here, Jesus said, if you divorce and remarry, you're committing adultery, except in one situation, if your partner engages in extramarital affairs, in sexual immorality. That was a disclaimer. That was a disclaimer that Jesus gave. It's direct in the Bible, whichever Bible version you read. It's also written again in Matthew 5:32, if you're willing to see. Matthew 5:32, I'm reading from the NIV. Anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality, notice the commas, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. So Jesus literally gave a disclaimer that if you remarried because your partner was involved in sexual immorality, then in that case, you're not sinning. Your partner broke your covenant, because marriage is a sex covenant. The two become one flesh. One flesh enters another flesh. That's the covenant. That's what we call consummating marriage, is a sex covenant. If you do not have sexual intimacy, you do not consummate the marriage. It can be dissolved. It's not marriage. It's a sex covenant that you will be intimate That's the only thing the two of you do together. Other things you can do with your sisters, with your brothers, with your dad, with your mom, with your friends, with your neighbors, with your work colleagues, with anyone else. The only thing you can do with anyone else is sexual intimacy, because marriage is an intimate covenant. It's a covenant for intimacy. The two become one flesh. Now that said, even if your partner has cheated on you, my personal position, this is not the Lord, this is me, Jacob speaking. My personal position, forgive your partner. You too may need the same grace. Unless cheating becomes habitual, give forgiveness a chance. If your partner is not abusive, they are not into satanic worship, and they are not habitual cheaters, they made a mistake once or even twice, work on your marriage. Help them reform. We are all work in progress. You can work on your marriage. God hates divorce, and the first thing that should hit our head is not divorce, it's forgiveness. In any case, Jesus emphasized forgiveness much more than separation. If this video blessed you, please give me a comment, like it, share it with your friends. Let's engage. Ask me a question in this YouTube video. I will answer you. Let's have a debate. Let's talk. Ask your question. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's the best way you can support me to continue giving you such content. Deal?